Hello and welcome again to Casual Magic. Tonight I want to just give you a quick update on the workplace, I guess, summer magic tournament that we have. My work is very, very generous in the fact that our employee activities committee is nice enough to let us do a paid employees magic tournament. And it's just so much fun. I couldn't be more grateful to them. They're just absolutely so kind for letting us do that. Using my experience from the pre-release a couple weeks ago, just kind of had a theory of what I was going to try and do. Unfortunately, Blue-Red didn't quite work out like I wanted it to as far as drafting, so in the end I gave up and I did Blue-White, which is the archetype I absolutely hate the most. I hate blue and white. I hate control decks. They're just so annoying to play against. But when no one else is drafting that, that's the direction I went. And yeah, all right. Well, let's take a quick speed through what I had. Sigardian Priest, definitely good just to be able to tap a creature. Dongriff, 2/2 flyer. Drugskull Shield Knight, just to be able to flash it in and give other creatures +0/+1 until end of turn. Extricator of Sin. This one, you throw it out, you get a 3/2 Eldrazi token, big whoop. You know, you get it out and you sacrifice something. So one of the things that I did at some point in the game was I sacrificed a land. You don't have to sacrifice a creature with this, you have to sacrifice another permanent. So my opponent was kind of shocked with that. He's like, oh my god, I thought that was only creatures. It's like, no, sorry. But when you flip it, it's a 3/5 Eldrazi Horror, and Eldrazi you control have Vigilance. And yes, you can sacrifice something else to get out of the 3/2s, but Eldrazi you control have Vigilance. That ended up being huge for me late game when I had 2 Eldrazi going, and they could just basically swing in. He couldn't really do much, and I came around and just brought them back for defense and played more combat tricks, and just having Vigilance on Eldrazi was just a huge, huge difference. Nearheath Chaplain, 3/1 lifelink, very, very useful, and actually for him, one of the things that I did was I equipped him, so he eventually was a 5 damage lifelink guy, so definitely tough to deal with. If I can say that right, Subjugator Angel, a little costly to get out, but when it enters the battlefield, tap all creatures your opponents control. This was definitely huge to be able to say, okay, there's a big board state, I've almost punched through, and late in the game play this, tap everything that they have, punch on through for the win. So definitely a great uncommon, has some use. Tattered Haunter, it's a 2/1 flyer, good early on, it can't block, so eventually it just kind of putters out and doesn't really do much. That's why if you have Emerge, it's a good thing to finally get rid of this and upgrade to something better. Fogwalker, I had 2 of them. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Plus it's got Skulk, so a little dual versatility. Thing in the Ice. This was absolutely huge, and I'm finally glad that I got to play it in a draft environment. One game I just kept bringing back Sorceries, or not Sorceries, Instants, and was able to get the 4 ice counters off of it and get my 7/8 Kraken Horror. No, I did not say release the Kraken. I should have, but it was against someone I went 0-2 against, so I didn't really want to just try and rub it in their face that I won by luck. But when it transforms, then return all non-horror creatures to the owner's hands. And yeah, she had a big board state. She was doing mono black, had tons of cheap stuff out there, vampires, rats. She even had the meld thing between rats and a human. I don't remember the name of it. She had a lot of stuff, but Kraken comes out, boom, they all go back to her hand, and I can just punch on through. Ingenious Scab, be able to give a creature, or this creature, +1/-1 until end of turn, so I could kind of pump it up and try and get rid of some bigger stuff. Geist of the Archives. a little bit useful. He's basically a wall, but at the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. That was quite useful. At some point when I had enough lands, I could just basically start scrying through lands that I didn't want and get better cards. So really for 3, definitely got some use. Silent Observer, it's a flyer, 1/5, just a big butt. Advanced Stitchwing, just a zombie 3/5 flyer. Stormrider Spirit, a little expensive, but you can flash it in, so I definitely use this more often than not to flash in and kill pesky little 1/1 or 2/1 flyers. Vexing Scuttler, if you remember my last video talking about the pre-release, this is one of the cards that was really fun because as soon as I got to emerge it, then I could get an instant or sorcery back. So I could basically throw out one of my instants, take a time or an ice counter off of Thing in the Ice, emerge Vexing Scuttler on my second main, get that instant back, and then be able to use it at a moment's notice to get that final counter off. So definitely a useful card. He was definitely key in my victory for my last game. As far as enchantments go, Griff's Boon, enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has flying. This was more or less, I would say, a top deck card for me. So my opponent was doing black and white, he had tons of stuff out, he just kept pinging away at me, and there was really nothing that I could do about it because my one flyer couldn't block, and it was just basically I'm hanging out waiting to die. But when I could make one of my Eldrazi have flying, then that was one of the 2 things that helped change the flow of the game back into my favor. And suddenly I started to be able to punch through, where he was at 20 most of the game, and then all of a sudden, here's this huge amount on the ground, and then, 4 or 5, I think it was 4 in the air, and nothing that he could do against it. And to be able to get this out for 1 and be able to get it back, just great card. Choking Restraints, kind of like pacifism, just don't attack, don't block, so it has some use. And then if a creature is totally pesky, you can exile it. Faith Unbroken, both exile and an enchantment to bump up your creatures. Definitely got some use out of this card again. Ghostly Wings, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has flying, and discard a card to return an enchanted creature to its owner's hand. I did use this twice. I used it once for actually trying to make something a flyer, and then I used it a second time on something that was huge, but I knew was probably going to get targeted by something. So I put it out not necessarily to make a flyer and attack, but I put it out on something that would give me some effect, I think, when it came into the battlefield. I think it might have been that thing that makes the Eldrazi token when you sacrifice something. So that way when he did some attack spell or something else, I could quick flash it back to my hand and then bring it back out again for an added bonus. Lunar Force, hilarious. Oh my god, this card is hilarious. 2 and a blue, and an opponent casts a spell, sacrifice Lunar Force, and counter that spell. So sometimes on turn 3, turn 4, when things aren't necessarily going my way, I would just throw this out as a stall tactic. Or when it got down to the point where my opponent maybe had 2 cards in their hand, so they're kind of saving onto their big reasons that they decided to choose that hand and play with it in the first place, then you just drop this down for 3, and oh, surprise, whichever one you play, it's going to get countered. And I think one time someone played just some little cheap pump spell, and all the other times this actually was effective and got rid of something worth more than 3. So that definitely got its use. As far as instants go, Give No Ground, the foil version. I got this not because it's foil, but target creature gets +2/+6 until end of turn and can block any number of creatures this turn. That was huge because more often than not, I would have my opponent swing through with what should be lethal damage. I could put this out, suddenly it can block literally almost everything. Let's say if I put it on a flyer, it could technically block everything. If I put it on a ground creature, it could just block everything on the ground. And one time, again, going back to the black and white opponent at the end of in my last match, he had flyers that were swinging through and the ground creatures that were swinging through. I played this on one creature, traded off. I destroyed all 3 of his ground creatures, destroyed mine, and then by getting the Griff's boon to be able to make my Eldrazi a flyer on the next turn, suddenly he had a couple of tiny flyers and good board state to suddenly no ground board state and a flyer that could swing through for damage, be able to kill all of his stuff, and it still had vigilance. It was awesome. So I loved this card. I got a lot of use out of this card. Fantastic card. Just the Wind, just to bounce something back to their hand. Got some good use out of that. And a couple displays. One happens to be foil, yay. But exile 2 target creatures you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. So let's say if my opponent put down the enchantment where I can't attack or block, first opponent that I went up against, he had 2 of those things out of my 2 creatures at the beginning of the game. Sure enough, turn 3 rolls around, and then boop, doesn't matter. They're both on my, both back in my hand, and now back out on the field. So definitely got some use out of those. Moving on to sorceries, not much. Chaplain's Blessing. This card is just stupidly broken. 1 white, you gain 5 life. That's it. It was just like, okay, turn 1, planes. I gain 5 life, pass the turn, and I'm at 25. I mean, I played this in probably half of my games. It's great. I love this. I wish I could have drafted more of these. Not Forgotten. Put target card from graveyard on top or bottom of its owner's library, and then put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. So let's say my decent sized creature or flyer got killed. Sure enough, I can play this as a sorcery. I can get a 1/1 flyer. I can put that card on top of my library, and then next turn draw that card exactly all over again because it's on top of my deck. So that's definitely got some versatility with it, because it's not just getting an instant or sorcery back. I mean, it could be a creature. If you had a planeswalker, you get the planeswalker back. I mean, it's definitely got some good use. And of course, Angelic Purge to exile something. All you have to do is sacrifice a permanent, then you can get rid of an artifact, creature, enchantment. So my opponent gets together something, that suddenly melds the creatures. Oh god, what am I going to do? Well, next turn, cast this and sacrifice something I don't care about and get rid of the giant beefy 5/6 thing. So that was definitely fun. And as far as lands, it was 9 plains and 10 islands, because in the end I kind of got torn between some of the cards that I wanted to play, and I know it was stupid. I should have stuck with 40 cards, but in the end it paid off, and I didn't necessarily do that bad, and I definitely didn't get mana screwed. Some of the stuff that I didn't use, Displace, because 3 copies is a bit much. Convolute, just because more often than not, I've run into those situations of someone playing a spell, but then they have 4, so didn't really want to play it in just a draft. A couple Exultant Cultists, just to have something out there as a body, and then when it dies, draw a card. Take Inventory to draw a card, and then I only had 1 of them, so it's not like I can suddenly play this and draw 4 cards or anything crazy like that. Just play it once, draw a card at the end. Contingency Plan. I wasn't really concerned with kind of stacking the deck Thraben Inspector, I didn't really care about clues. Borrowed Grace, I almost put this in, but this is one of the spells that got cut just to give creatures +2/+0 or 0 +2, or both. Kind of wanted to do it. Thraben Standard Bearer just to get humans out, but yeah, passed on it. Cryptolith Fragment, it's good. I mean, add 1 mana to your mana pool, each player loses a life, that's great. And you can transform it if both players have less than 10 life, and when it attacks, each opponent loses 3 life. That's good, but there were so many games that were completely lopsided. In the end, I just decided to leave this one out, just because I didn't really think there were going to be that many chances that both players would be below 10 life. And Harness the Storm, the second card that I drafted. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, you may cast target card with the same name as that spell from your graveyard. Thought about it, because I thought, okay, well, there's going to be some cards that I'll have if I'm doing red, and then the guy next to me basically was just doing red hard. So in the end, I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing white and blue, because no one's really drafting white. Breakneck Rider, transform card, just to get attacking creatures +1/+0 and trample if it focuses. There we go. Otherworldly Outburst, fun last time, just to get +1/+0, and when a creature dies, then, or when that creature dies, then you get a 3/2 Eldrazi. Well, Darling Duelist. That was that. So that's stuff that I didn't use. Now, as far as how I did, I ended up coming in 4th out of 16. That's amazing. Last time, I think I came in 9th. So this deck definitely worked out way better draft overall, way better play experience. Just loved it. So as far as winnings go, I got my 2 packs for coming in 4th place. However, in addition to that, as far as additional prize support that we did, everyone got 3 packs, just as prize support. Everyone got the promo card, Identity Thief here. 2 and 2 blue for 0/3. Creature Shapeshifter. Whenever Identity Thief attacks, you may exile another target non-token creature. If you do, Identity Thief becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn. Return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So you can make a copy of something and bounce something in the same spell. Decent. Definitely would have used it if I could have drafted it, but, you know, hey, promo card for everyone. That's a nice bonus for everyone. As part of a drawing, a bunch of people got random prizes. Last time I showed you the deck box. This time I got this 90 card portfolio with dragons on it. Not bad. Apparently it retails for $9.99, so got that as a prize too. And then lastly, just because we bought the extra booster box as prize support, that also meant that buy a box promo. Thalia Heretic Cathar, which if you haven't played with this or haven't played against this, this card is awesome, and looking forward to it in Commander deck in the near future. 2 and a white, legendary creature, Human Soldier. It's a 3/2. It has first strike. Creatures and other non-basic lands your opponent's control enter the battlefield tapped. So your opponent, who's got that super awesome Sliver EDH deck that has every dual land, that, you know, you say, oh, I'll play Underground Sea. That's a $300 card. And it comes in, it can make a black or blue mana. Guess what? It's basically like a worthless common, because it's coming in tapped. All your creatures that flash in that want to do something, too bad. They can flash in, but they're tapped. They can't block. Suck it. So, yeah, this is an awesome, awesome card, and just to be able to get this this promo, that was an extra huge bonus. So, I loved it. I just had a blast, as you can see. I mean, I had some decent cards. to play with. Nothing really overly pricey that I can say, yay, I got a Planeswalker, you know, something really expensive. But maybe there could be in one of these packs. I don't know. I'm going to be opening those up in a future episode. But again, if you can do a Magic event at your workplace, please, please, please try and arrange one. If you can get corporate money to help sponsor it, I encourage you to do that too, because it really is a team building exercise. I mean, there's really a lot of people that I've met in other departments that otherwise I really wouldn't have gotten a chance to meet or know, and I appreciate their participation. We play more at work, we interact more. I mean, even so much as just seeing someone in a hallway and saying, you know, hey, how are you doing? How's your kid doing? I mean, there's so many other little side benefits other than just showing up, being a drone, playing a game, and then going home. And again, I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, I mean, these cards do technically say Magic the Gathering. Really? Okay, I guess I'll wrap it up because my thing is flashing that I'm almost out of time. Fine, I'll stop being cheesy. As always, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, until next time, good luck.
I hate blue and white. I hate control decks.